You guys seen the title of the video, so tonight I want to do just a quick look at my new knife. This is the G&G Hawk Deadlock. It's an out the front dual action. All the metal parts are titanium, and the blade itself is 20 CV. A little bit of writing on the sides here. And the pocket clip is spring loaded. I've only got one other knife by the Hawk guys, and that is the Mud. You guys have seen this in some other videos if you watch any of my sharpenings. I had a big problem with this knife down here in the base. The edge had a little hook, and I noticed on my Deadlock I got that exact same issue going on. Right there in the choil there is a little bit of an inverted ramp. There's a little bit of a hook right at the base. And because this knife is so close to the handle, I think the only way I'll be able to get in there is probably with a guided system like the Edge Pro or the Hapstone. Before I get any further, I want to show a couple of comparisons here. Of course, we've got the Mud. You can see the size difference here. I got a Spyderco Delica. Not too much bigger than a Delica. Got a Paramilitary 2. Those are pretty comparable right there. Microtech Ultratech. Microtech Halo. Just dwarfs it. Can't even get it all the way in the frame. So just a quick size comparison so you can get an idea of how big this knife is. Much smaller than I pictured. I think when they first started making these, the blades were closer to 4 inches. They are now around 3.5 inches, which is perfect size for me an EDC carry. When they invented this Deadlock knife, I wanted one immediately. Having an out the front with zero blade play in any direction, it's a huge appeal to any out the front guy. The first video I saw on it was Jim Skelton's. The way he had described it, the locking mechanism, left me wondering, and I had some questions. So I just asked away on his channel. He responded, and Gavin Hawk actually came on and started a conversation. I was concerned about the springs because they're using long coil springs that stretch. Well, I don't even know if they're called coil springs, but they're long springs that go inside the body. And if you have any questions about this, you can search YouTube. They have a disassembly video of this. My concern was, though, as those springs lose elasticity from firings, if the knife would fail to engage and lock up. At the time, they were still doing some testing, but Gavin actually came back and replied months later saying that they've fired one of these knives over 150,000 times, and the spring is still working as good as it did the first day. So I don't think that will ever become a problem, but if it does, they send you a tool to completely disassemble your knife. So if you ever have to service this thing, you've got the luxury of being able to get inside here without voiding your warranty. That's another big thing for out the fronts. Usually they come with proprietary hardware, and you cannot get into them without voiding the warranty. So for the maker to not only allow you to get inside the knife, but to provide you a tool to do it is a huge bonus. Me personally, I'm not very good with taking knives apart or putting them back together, so unless I've got a problem or I really need to clean this out, I don't foresee ever getting in there and doing anything. The action on the knife is a lot stronger than I thought it would. hearing Jim Skelton's video discussing it, he talks about how the knife has a soft firing. And compared to, say, a Microtech, yeah, it's a little soft, but there's nothing at all wrong with the speed and the power behind that spring. I'm satisfied with it 100%. The button sits proud of the frame. You've got some milled titanium here that's got really, I wouldn't say aggressive jimping, but it's very, very good. Your finger gets on there and just locks in. That gives you plenty of grip for actuating this knife. Got the titanium main frame here, and then the carbon fiber just lays on top of it, and then the mechanism all lays on top of it. The pocket clip I'm not a big fan of. I actually emailed the Hawks after I received this knife to find out if there is a replacement pocket clip that they offer. I don't like the retention that this has. The spring is not very strong. It hasn't pulled out of my pocket, but I did notice as I was moving around at work today that there were several times where the knife was pushed all the way up to where that little clip is and was just sitting like that. So if they've got a different pocket clip and I can get one, I'm definitely going to switch this out because I just don't like the spring clip. Let's get the price out of the way. It's a big factor in this knife. They are custom hand-built knives. Of course they're CNC milled and all that fun stuff, but for the most part this is a custom knife. It is $1,200. There is no way around it. That is pretty expensive. This is actually the most expensive knife in my collection currently. Never thought I would spend that much money on a knife, but I never thought an out the front would ever be made that had zero blade play either. They sent the knife without a box and without a baggie, and I had that option to wait a week to have the little baggie that it comes stored in sent, or to just go ahead and receive the knife. Well, I'll never use that baggie. It'll get thrown in a corner or end up in the garbage, so I told them just send me the knife. So that's what they did, along with this little care package. And as I showed earlier, it's got a Weha Torx bit, some lube, and they actually sent you some chapstick that's got the Hawk emblem on it, which is pretty sweet. This thing is built very, very well. All the corners are chamfered. Everything is smooth. I do have a very teeny tiny gap in between the carbon fiber and the titanium scale right here in the corner, but it's so small you can't even see it, but you can slip like a little sheet of paper behind it. Not a big deal. It'll never be noticed by anybody, so I'm not sweating it. Like I said, there is no blade play in this guy, none whatsoever. It's got a fantastic edge. It's extremely sharp. I haven't tested it on my edge on up edge tester, but just cutting paper and stuff like that, it just flows through material. Given the price of this one, I'm not sure how much I'm going to actually use it. If I do, it's probably just going to be very light use. I'm not going to take it to work and beat on it. This knife just holds too much value to do that. The plan was to actually get it and use it, but I'm not going to beat on this one. I will use it for day-to-day tasks, but I'm not going to take it to work and strip cable. Well guys, I just wanted to show this off. There's a ton of videos out there talking about this, so if you want a full review, definitely check one of those out. I just wanted to show the knife off. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. I appreciate you watching. Y'all have a good one.